That's you.
Now you're live.
Let's go. We're live.
Now you got to go. Oh,
Yes.
look, it's Fantasy Blitz time. We did it, folks. We did it. We made it.
Second. We have to confirm that there's audio first.
No, we don't. I can see it down there.
So
it's
you
working.
can see it's working. We're good to
I
go.
have 100% confidence.
Okay, great. What is it? Okay.
Look, we don't even got to check things. Guys, welcome to Fantasy Blitz. I am Nick.
I'm Adam. I had zero doubt about that.
And Hudson's over there doing
Hudson,
something.
Guys. Yep.
Yeah, Fantasy Blitz, no BS, just Blitz. We've got a show. I don't know if it's going to be good. It won't be bad. It will be informative, but we have a show for week 10 of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that game last night sucked.
Dude, and I needed Herbert. Like, I needed something from him.
Yeah.
And I prayed that night. And
We all do.
buddy, I was let down.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, my playoff hopes are over. That's okay, though.
That's all right.
That's okay.
You're here to get points for to not be in last place. That's what
Yeah.
I'm vying for, is to somehow not completely lose.
I think I can make that happen.
Yeah. My draft strategy failures video did really well over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. It started popping a little
popped
bit
off.
there.
It's continued to pop off. People are learning from my mistakes because that's what we're all about here at Fantasy Blitz.
Oh, yeah.
Learning from mistakes, getting incrementally better every week. Speaking of incrementally better, who's on bye?
A lot of really good teams are on bye. And a lot of really, 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 really valuable fantasy players. So Rams, Chiefs, Eagles, and Dolphins all on bye. So that means Mahomes, Kelsey, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill,
did
Jalen
nothing
Waddle.
last week.
Like everybody's out. Like all of the big top 10 players in like each of their positions gone.
Yeah, it's the number one receiver and the number one quarterback are both on bye this week.
Yep. Number 1, 2. Yeah, number 1 and 2 receivers because Tyreek and A.J. Brown.
Oh, yeah, AJ.
Number 1 tight end, Travis Kelsey.
And number 1 and 2 quarterbacks.
Number 1 and 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Wow.
Hellacious. Expect a lot of troubles this week
Oh, yeah.
among the 9-1 and the 10-0 and the 8-2 teams.
Yes. So
It's going to get nasty.
that being said, there was a bunch of movements as far as player injuries, as far as
Absolutely.
potential pickups and trade options, and people like flopping last week. A couple people blowing up. CJ Stroud. But first,
Stroud boys. Yeah, first of all, guys, you got to like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
It helps the channel out.
yeah,
It helps out the people. You are the people. You are helping yourself. There's Hudson. It helps him. He's our unpaid intern.
subscribe for Hudson.
Elijah, yeah. Subscribe for Elijah. Subscribe for Hudson. Subscribe for the people.
The more you subscribe, the less of Hudson you have to see.
Yeah. And I think we may actually, if you subscribe and we get to 500 before the playoffs, we'll have booth babes in here.
Oh, thank God. BJ's coming in here?
Yeah, if you guys like chicks, I'll get a box of chicks. I have them all here on the desk. They'll be flocking around. If you want to see chicks on the stream, let's get to 500 subs.
Yeah. All right, speaking of chicks.
Speaking of subs.
All right. The obvious, I say obvious, it's really not that obvious if you didn't really pay attention this week, which I wasn't until I saw the box score afterwards. Keaton Mitchell, who was the number 2 running back behind Gus Edwards for the Ravens. 9 carries, 150 yards, I believe,
He done good.
and 2 touchdowns.
He done good.
What the? Where did that come from?
The hell?
That's crazy. And I mean, he made Gus Edwards look like trash. I mean, Gus Edwards has been decent too.
That's trash.
So like,
Bobby?
so I'm thinking he should be the number 1 waiver pickup right now. Did I spell his last name right? Whatever. He should be the number 1 waiver pickup today. Even if he doesn't take over the backfield, it kind of gave me Devon Achane vibes from earlier this year. Maybe not. Well, kind of close to the same extent. So, and if they try to lean in towards that, he could be a like very, very high upside running back.
What's the
forward.
timetable on Devon Achane?
I think it was. Since they're on bye right now, I'm pretty sure they're looking at next week, but it was sort of like a we'll see how it goes kind of deal.
Okay.
But hopefully next week.
Okay.
Week 11. Another one, we talked about this guy last week a little bit, is Demario Douglas for the Patriots with Kendrick Bourne going down for the season. We were kind of trying to figure out who the next wide receiver was going to be for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And he didn't really show out or anything. this game. He didn't put up anything, to run to the waivers for, but it does look like he's going to be the number one guy. Juju sucks. Devontae Parker, wow, we're all coughing. Devontae Parker sucks. Hunter Henry, I mean, he was okay. I think he got a touchdown, so that's nice. But like, Mario Douglas he has to be the number one wide receiver for the Patriots. And if you can get a number one wide receiver for any team, it's worth having on your bench. Luke Musgrave, another guy. I love seeing this on there.
Good
because Packers, we finally got a dub. Everybody.
There you go.
Against one of the worst offenses right now. Brett Ripien, thank you. Packers got a dub. Luke Musgrave was getting a lot of looks. He was getting designed touchdown looks. So a lot of deep balls. There was one where the touchdown pass that he caught, he like leaked out really late from behind the line and caught this like, a laser down the middle. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And any tight end that is getting that kind of work and that kind of designed usage, like I'm grabbing him.
Yep,
I'm grabbing him. He was always kind of like a on the fence kind of guy. Like, do we need Luke Musgrave? Like, are we doing that?
Hudson's
like,
doing the scoops.
Yeah.
Feed him. Feed the baby.
But I think now that Aaron Jones is back, we don't have to worry too much about focusing on passing. Like, we can open up the run game a little bit, open up the playbook more for the receivers and tight ends, and that should be decent stuff for Luke Musgraves.
Yep.
Another tight end, Jonnu Smith.
Do it.
8 for 100, I believe it was. Yep. And a red zone carry?
We've been Jonnu Smith truthers for a minit here on this channel.
We've been preaching him. I know it's kind of off and on for the past 2 weeks with Kyle Pitts doing something. Jonnu Smith, mad targets, tons of yards, and a carry in the red zone.
What the hell is going on in Atlanta?
So, for reference, Bijan Robinson, 2 red zone carries.
What is going on in Atlanta? Arthur, what are you doing?
There.
You were there.
I was there on Sunday.
What happened?
Wait, were you tailgating or were you like in the
I was
stadium?
doing both.
Oh.
I got there early, had a great time. I got to watch the whole game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what happened to Jonnu though. Like this dude balled out.
Jeez.
And Bijan has been doing nothing, and Arthur Smith keeps making these BS excuses for why they're not playing whoever. And he's like, well, we're going to go with a hot hand at running back. Or we're going to go with a hot hand at wide receiver.
Your hot hand is your number one pick.
It's like,
idiot.
Dude, you're not winning games. Like, I know we, as fantasy players, we like seeing Jonnu Smith get a ton of work and, like, do really well. That's not winning you football games.
Nope.
They blew a game that should have been a easy win. I mean, they went down to the Vikings went down to Josh Dobbs, who had been there for 4 days, and he embarrassed them.
Yep.
Like, Falcons, what are we doing? Yep. Jonnu Smith, though, grab him, throw him on your bench if you need a tight end right now. He's honestly not been that bad of a tight end all year.
Yep.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's taken in a lot of leagues, but, if you can grab him, I would just to be safe.
All right. I'm going to talk about my flyer here, which is Will Levis.
Hiding down there at the bottom. He's behind our camera.
You got to move our camera.
There you go.
Will Levis. Why did I pick Will Levis? Well, he just got the job as the quarterback for the Titans. Okay? Kicked out old man Tannehill, who was washed up anyway. Yeah. Hate that guy.
Yeah.
The worst guy ever. Will Levis kind of had a bad time this week, but was playing a decent defense.
And he looked like good.
Yeah.
He had a couple of 2-minute drills where I was like, man, this guy can cook.
Yeah.
So I mean, he wasn't anything stellar last weekend. Granted, they didn't throw the ball a whole lot. They didn't really have to. I mean, right at the end of because it was kind of neck and neck the whole game. And if you're the Titans and you're neck and neck, you're giving the ball to Derrick Henry. That's just kind of what you're doing.
But he's got Henry, he's got D-Hop. They have a pretty good schedule for the rest of the year. So, if you're absolutely hurting for a QB, Will Levis is not a bad grab, especially with so many stud QBs that are on bye this week.
Yeah.
You're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and Will Levis is not a bad grab if you're absolutely desperate.
Yeah, I mean, he looked incredible 2 weeks ago. Didn't really put up great fantasy numbers this week.
Yep.
But, I mean, I like him.
Yep.
And now that he's officially the starter moving forward, I like that. Guy that I don't really like too much, but we still kind of have to talk about, we're obligated to talk about this. Cam Akers tore his Achilles, man, again.
He's done.
That's
He
the
can't play
second
anymore.
Achilles tear.
You can't play after that.
I don't think
Two
so.
for a running back, you're done.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
And he has just been struggling year after year, really with coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but he was off and on with the Rams, and then they let him go, and And then he went to the Vikings and really was getting, 7 to 10 carries a game, which is okay, but nothing. It's the Vikings, so they weren't really doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And then he tears his ACL. So that's good news for Alexander Mattison owners. I mean, Madison's not very good either, and the Vikings aren't really going to be in the red zone that often until Justin Jefferson comes back. I know Josh Dobbs is better than Jaron Hall, but probably not going to be that elite.
No.
Ty Chandler is now the running back 2 in that offense. So if you're in that offense, if you own Alexander Mattison, or if you're like dying at running back and you really need a guy, Ty Chandler now I think was better in the first place than Cam Akers, so he should be seeing 10 carries a game. That's what you would think, because that's what Cam Akers was getting. He's slightly better than Cam Akers.
Interesting.
You should be looking at 10 carries a game, which is, if you get a guy getting 10 carries a game, that's on your roster.
I'm expecting the Vikings running game to open up more now that Josh Dobbs did so well.
Yeah, he did.
And he's a running quarterback, and he's young, so they're going to run him more. So now it's like, oh no, what kind of scheme are we going to run? Who are we covering? That usually ends up working out well for running backs.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I have Alexander Mattison as a buy low, but that's, if you can get him, I would get him.
I'm a little on the fence about
I know.
the Dobbs stuff. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great.
No.
And just to temper everybody's expectations, he was playing the choke gods Falcons. Like, if there's somebody that you're going to come
defense.
man, they're all right.
They're in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, they were.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they're okay. Anyways, enough of the Vikings. That's kind of a gross situation.
Let's talk about Mr. Call of Duty himself.
Right? I was just about to say that. Kyler Murray is looking like he's going to play this weekend. I think all signs are pointing towards him playing. That being said, Modern Warfare 3 comes out in a couple of days.
Who knows? Is there a new season of Fortnite going to drop? Will Kyler Murray even show up for practice? Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see. But it's Kyler Murray. If he's playing, he should be on a roster somewhere. Oh. Chances are a lot of you guys are still needing quarterbacks. I mean, there are maybe 10 good quarterbacks for fantasy right now. Maybe. And he could be a very good fantasy quarterback.
If they promise him iPad time after the game, he probably will play.
And a McDonald's burger.
Yeah. Let's talk about Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, speak of the devil. He probably should have been where Kyle Murray is. But Joshua Dobbs was probably rostered in most of your leagues until 2 weeks ago. Yep. And then was not rostered anymore. And then the trade came up and he went to the Vikings. And everybody was like, all right, well, it's going to be a week or two before he actually plays. Nope. Now. So if he probably is on the waivers in a lot of leagues.
He is.
Maybe not all of them, but probably a lot. And if the Vikings can get anything going, he has a lot of upside. Justin Jefferson should be back in 2 weeks probably. If he heals properly, there were some rumors going around that he might not be healing very properly at all, and the Vikings are kind of on the fence of if they're even going to make the playoffs, so maybe he doesn't push to come back. But if he does, Josh Dobbs has a lot of upside. I mean, any quarterback that's thrown to Justin Jefferson has a lot of upside. So I would stash that. Another guy that we've talked about before, Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. We've been trying to figure out who the guy is going to be for Arizona. Yep. It was not going to be anybody with Clayton Tune throwing the football. That was his name. Yeah. I couldn't even remember who he was, and he was awful. And the Cardinals scored 0 against the Browns. I mean, I know the Browns have a good defense, but 0? Are we kidding?
That's
like, this is the NFL.
Crazy. Yeah.
Horrible. Michael Wilson, though, still getting his targets, still getting the looks that he needs. I think he's good enough to throw on there. I mean, if Kyler Murray can come back and get the passing game going at all, that should be very helpful. James Conner should be back in a couple weeks to get the run game back. I know we're kind of approaching fantasy playoffs, so we're kind of like, all right, like the lineups are getting locked.
Yeah.
But grab them. All right, this is the more fun category, and if we had a lot of people in here, I'm sure that we'd be getting a lot of trade questions, because everybody loves to drop trade questions in here. So if you're watching this after the fact, drop them or go to Twitter.
Comments,
Follow us on Twitter. We're at FantasyBLTZ, and we love answering trade questions. So
Hudson, can you pull that up on the computer, see if we can just see that for a second? But we can talk about Keenan Allen while he's pulling that up.
Yeah, so this one's...
What do you want to be pulled up?
The Twitter.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Yep.
So this one's an interesting one. It seems like every week the analysts and whoever are like, Keenan Allen, top 5 receiver this week. Keenan Allen, top 5 receiver this week. And then he kind of puts up like, he's getting 15 points, he's getting 10, he's getting 12 points, like really mediocre fantasy numbers on an offense that should be very high powered. Yeah, there's the Twitter account for you guys.
Wow.
Yep. Hit us up. Ask us your trade questions.
Fantasy BLTZ. Get in there.
Ooh, look at
We
this
have-
content.
Oh wait, go back up to the thing. Yeah, that's the every Bajan Robinson
Yes.
manager to Arthur Smith.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to things that.
Oh
we
no.
need.
Oh, we're in the negative zone. Oh, there we go. Hudson
Anyways,
got it.
we were talking about Keenan Allen. The Chargers they should be looking a lot better. They've been playing some difficult defenses, especially last night with the Jets. They have the best secondary in the league, and honestly, probably the best defense in the league.
I will say, last night their defense was amazing.
Yeah, they looked the defense looked really good, and so did the
very
Chargers
good.
defense. But that's not really saying much against the Jets offense. But
Yeah.
I mean, Jets defense always looks decent, and I was expecting them to have a tough time against a high-powered Chargers offense. Granted, they still gave up like 25 points, or something like that, which is a lot.
Yep.
But considering their offense wasn't doing anything,
Nothing. Yeah, they were out
on
there the
field
whole damn game.
Yeah, all night. That's decent.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert limited to under 200 yards.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That makes Keenan Allen a good spot right now because the Chargers should have, after I think next week they play a difficult team, Baltimore or somebody, and then moving forward they should have a slightly easier schedule, which means they should be able to get cooking a little bit more. I think this week they play Detroit, which should be a good matchup. Then they play Baltimore. Hopefully those are two high-scoring games, which means Justin Herbert's going to be slinging it. If we see him slinging it, we see Keenan Allen doing really well. Look at week 3 against the Vikings. Justin Herbert threw it 40-something times, and Keenan Allen caught 15 of them for 230 yards, like insane. So the past 5 weeks, Keenan Allen's been a little disappointing. I would be targeting him heavily for a guy,
Yeah, they are playing the Lions.
Yeah, target Keenan Allen and see if you can get him for a slight discount right now because better days are ahead for him. I know the owners of him are probably pretty high on him just because of the buzz that he always gets every week.
Yep.
But I'd try and make a move for him.
Not gonna lie, the Chargers schedule looks pretty juicy.
Yeah, it's decent.
Here it is. Are we ready? Here we go. They're playing the Lions,
Shootout.
Packers. Sorry. Ravens, that's gonna be a tough one. Ravens gonna be a tough one. Patriots, not a tough one.
Nope.
Broncos, not a tough one.
Easy.
Raiders, I gotta say,
Nope.
Raiders defense is pretty good.
So here's the thing with the Chargers, if they're playing a good defense, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
What matters is it going to be a shootout? Is the
It will
other
be a
team's
shootout.
offense going to be scoring?
Yeah, I
So,
think it will be a shootout.
In the game against, I think they play Kansas City coming up here fairly soon.
It's at the end of the year, actually.
Okay, so whatever. But like against the Raiders, that could be better. The Bills game could be insane. Can you scroll up real quick for me? Patriots game could be a stinker. Ravens game could be a good game, like high scoring. Detroit game this week could be really good. I'm targeting Chargers all over the place. But
Yep.
moving on. Tony Pollard, talk about disappointing. He has been touted as like top 5 running back every week and just is not happening. And every single game, it seems like he gets 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties.
Yeah.
Happened again on Sunday
So
against the
frustrating.
Eagles. He had a great touchdown and got called back, and then they threw it. So he has a very, very nice schedule coming up. Very nice. And the Cowboys should be pulling nicely ahead of most teams that they're playing. They shouldn't be facing that much, opposition, which means more running plays, which means Tony Pollard gets a little bit more work. If he can get a touchdown, he's immediately more, viable than he would have been the past month, 2 months even. Because he's getting like running back 15 numbers right now, and he should be top 5.
Yeah, their schedule. Oh my God, the Giants,
Oh,
the
give me that.
Panthers, the Commanders, and the Seahawks.
Bruh. That is a top
Oh, yeah.
10 running back schedule.
And then it gets gnarly. Then they go to Dark Souls mode. Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. But then back to the Commanders. But by then, fantasy's
it's over.
So the next 4 weeks. Oh yeah,
big points.
That's a
should
ooh-woo.
be. Oh, 100%. 100%. Another running back that's been slightly disappointing, DeAndre Swift. He was really hot to start the year,
Very hot. Yep.
and then kind of shifted into mid mode, where it was like 10, 15 points a game. That's fine, but most people have them as their running back 1 or 2, and they need more than that. If you can offer a mid-tier wide receiver for him, I would do that all day. This next one hurts me to my soul,
I know.
but it's a buy low. I'm standing with him. I'm holding him
Okay.
with diamond hands. Like these things are
Whoa.
rock hard. Cooper Kupp.
Rock hard.
I will talk about him all day, every day.
Yep. Another bricked up football.
Oh,
pick.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was holding him through his injury, and then he came back and put up 2 back-to-back insane weeks.
I drafted him early.
Yeah, and then he was my first-round pick. And then every single week after those amazing 2 games, 6 points, 6 points, 6 points.
Sad.
I mean, granted,
Sad
Matthew
story.
Stafford went down. Brett Rypien is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Should be moving forward better. They got Carson Wentz, who's
I
not
was
elite by any
wondering
means.
if you were going to bring that up.
Of course, I'm going to bring it up. Carson Wentz, not elite by any means. At least 3 times better than Brett Rypien.
Sure.
Rypien was disgusting against the Packers.
Carson Wentz is 3 times better than Rypien.
Yeah, and 3 times worse than Stafford.
2x better than Ritter. He's still half as good as Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick's the GOAT. Or Jameis. Imagine Cooper Kupp with Jameis Winston.
Or Big Nick. Is it time to make the call
No.
to Big Dick Nick? Nick Foles?
I think he retired.
He did. But you can always unretire. I've seen it happen.
They got their eagle. They're good. Cooper Kupp, ultimate buy low right now.
Yeah,
Back-to-back
definitely.
single-digit games. Brighter times should be coming.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's
Expect
Cooper.
another annoying Carson Wentz miracle streak of games to
It's
keep
Cooper
hope
Kupp.
alive, and then he will get injured in their playoff run.
Yeah.
.com/fantasy blitz. That's the call.
So I'm gonna let you talk about Alexander Madison because
Okay.
I'm on the
I know.
opposite side of you. So this will be a good talking point.
Yeah, so this is a good talking point. By the way, when you guys see this video, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel,
Yeah.
comment below. We're starting to do weekend videos. Tell us what you want us to cover. Also, secretly, we're making plans to do other type of fantasy content once fantasy football ends. What should we do?
Maybe a little
Question-
dynasty action. Maybe a little...
Question mark. Maybe some fantasy basketball.
Maybe,
Whoa.
Maybe
maybe
some-
XFL.
Maybe some
XFL.
fantasy XFL. Maybe
Stay
some
down, boy. Stay
fantasy,
down.
Saying.
some fantasy Magic
Go
the
back in your
Gathering.
cave.
Some people watch
I
it.
don't know.
Some people
Anyways,
watch.
Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
Here's why he is my buy low. Because he's going to be the RB1 in Minnesota.
Yes.
That's it.
He
There
will.
are a lot of non-RB1s on that are available, but he is an RB1. So if you need one and you're in that 6 and 3, right? You're on the bubble. You don't know if you're going to make the playoffs or not.
If you're 6-3, you better make those playoffs, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. 5 and 5,
Yeah.
and you're hurt. If you're strong in wide receiver and you're weak in running back, and you're in a 10, 12, 14 team league, you have to consider Alexander Madison, packaging him up, trying to buy low.
All right. I'm going to dismantle it a little bit.
That's
So
fine,
this
that's
is
fine.
why we
Let's
have
go.
2 people on the show.
That's right.
So Alexander Madison, you're correct. RB1.
Yep.
However, he has been the RB1.
He's not great.
He's not great. He's not been great. The Vikings are in a weird spot right now. Hasn't been awesome. I'd be skeptical about it. And I don't know if he's a buy low right now. I think he just had his second best game of the year, which was still bad. So yeah, I get it. It's technically low points, but it
Yeah.
was his second best game of the year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then I'll get to your question, Parker.
but I mean,
Bledsoe,
he's
in a
not a
minute.
sell high. You're not going to sell Alexander
No, you're not.
Madison.
And that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. You're in a really weird spot with him because you shouldn't really be, I don't know if you should be buying him. I wouldn't. And you can't really sell him high because he's not high enough to sell and get value for. And then there's still some uncertainty. Maybe he becomes good now that there's, zero competition. I mean, Ty Chandler maybe, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not making any moves on Alexander Madison.
This is a Facebook marketplace trade.
Yeah, it's
It's risky.
it is.
It's risky. Okay, let's
fail.
go on. CJ
All
Stroud.
right, Parker Bledsoe, first of all, in
Parker
our chat.
Bledsoe.
Would you do this? I get Mixon and Thielen for Jacobs and Higgins.
Josh Jacobs and T. Higgins.
I'm going to say no. The reason I'm going to say no on that is
Yeah.
because Mixon and Thielen, Mixon should have upside. He's been okay.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Thielen, I believe, is on a very quick downward trend. We saw it this week, and I've been preaching it for the past 3 weeks. Hey, your time to sell Thielen is running out.
Yep.
Higgins, amazing week.
Yep.
And Josh Jacobs is the only dude touching the football in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and look, I can go off about Raiders because I'm a Raider fan. Parker, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you for being involved in the chat. It's a new day in Las Vegas, and I'm expecting massive upside to continue for the Raiders. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a homer, but I'm saying that because Josh McDaniels was the gating factor to their success, okay? And that has been lifted, and you saw that everyone was enjoying their play, okay? Yes, they were beating up on basically someone who is mentally and physically handicapped this weekend, okay? But they needed that. It was a shot in the arm. They ground their opponents into the ground. They're riding high. Max Crosby is the leader of that team until further notice. And when the defense is your leader of the team, the running game wants to elevate to that. And they the new coach, I forget his name right now. It's escaping me. He was working for New England. He was their defensive coordinator. He's going to be establishing the run. Okay, he's going to be establishing the run. Jacobs is going to eat. You don't want. I think Thielen is done. Mixon is fine. So I think Jacobs and Higgins, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, and Higgins looked really great, and there's been a little bit of talk about Jamar Chase with a back injury.
And this is the Bengals' time where they turn up the Jets.
Oh, yes.
You're going to see T. Higgins delivering consistent double-digit games, basically from here until they choke in the playoffs. That's the way the Bengals are.
Yeah, I'm holding Higgins and Jacobs pretty
For
hard.
sure.
I really do like Mixon. I think he's the easy bell cow.
Yeah, I know.
And Thielen, I know, is technically top 10, but I really think that's a declining offense in a bad situation. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit and talk about C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell at the same time.
We are Stroud boys. I should have worn the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
C.J. Stroud, my dynasty QB,
He's
number one. My goodness. Broke some records, 470 yards,
Amazing.
5 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles.
Amazing.
He looked like a professional out there.
We're back.
Against a team that, doesn't have a terrible offense. Defense.
Yeah.
Like the Bucs, they're fine. It's not like they were embarrassing the Broncos or
they're in like 15th. Like they're in the middle. Like
very middle of the road.
They're a good NFL defense.
And he was under a lot of pressure that second half to perform. And man, he performed.
He rose to it.
And if he is throwing the ball that much, I know it was a lot. It was like 40 times. If he's throwing the ball that much, Tank Dell is going to be catching it a lot. That being said, I don't think he throws the ball that much anymore. I love C.J. Stroud. Love him. I like Tank Dell a lot. I don't think C.J. Stroud throws the ball maybe half as much. I think he throws 25 times a game. They have a pretty, not a great schedule coming up. So I would see those numbers come way back down. And if you can there's always one guy in every single league. If you can get that one guy that chases numbers big time, because there's one, sell him at, elite high ceiling right now. He's ranked as the number 5 QB. And before that, he was ranked at like 13 or something. One massive game. And I think that you can move him for a lot more than you'll be able to move him next week when he doesn't do that again.
Not to derail the flow, but here's who the Texans are going up against. This weekend, Bengals, tough game. I think it actually could have shootout potential.
Yeah.
And then it's the Cardinals.
Should be easy.
Should be easy.
But
then it's
here's the thing, though. With a QB and wide receivers, you don't want them playing the easy teams.
I know.
You want them in those shootouts. Like, I like the Bengals.
And this is why we go to the Jaguars. And the Broncos may show up, and they could absolutely ball out and have a shootout.
Maybe.
Then we go to the Jets. That's going to be a stinker. Titans will probably be a shootout. Browns will be tough.
And that's it.
But it's a home game for the Texans with the Browns.
Yeah.
And then, then you're done.
I look at that schedule and I think, okay, those offenses that they're facing aren't going to be putting up a lot. And they all have generally decent defenses besides the Cardinals. That usually means way less work for quarterbacks.
Yep.
And by proxy, way less work for Tank Dell, who has been great. I would still roll out Nico Collins over him. I think Nico Collins is going to get more work. He got a touchdown last week. Very designed play. It was awesome. I know he only had 3 catches for like 50-something yards, but like three for 50 and a touchdown. Give me that all day. Tank Dell is very boomer bust. He feels very good.
So sell high on Tank Dell, sell high on C.J. Stroud.
For sure.
Let's
for
do
sure.
it.
And
Najee
another
Harris.
guy, Najee Harris.
Yep.
Yuck. Hate Najee Harris. Sorry, buddy.
Yep.
Had his best game of the year by a mile. Looked okay running the football.
Not happening again.
Here's the thing with Najee. He looks good running the football. And then Jalen Warren comes in, and you're like, oh, this Najee guy sucks. Why aren't we running with it? Like, come on. And that's going to continue. The Steelers' offense isn't really changing anytime soon,
Nope.
I don't think. So that means Najee Harris, I can't see him doing that much better.
No.
However, people are going to need a running back, and they're going to look at that time. this week and a little bit last week where he looked okay, and they're gonna be like, you know what? I'll take a shot on Najee. If you can swap Najee out for somebody like maybe Alexander Madison, that'd be great.
Yep.
That'd be great. Or package him and get somebody decent. Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
This has been an interesting one. He's sort of emerged now that Curtis Samuel, I believe, has been out 2 games. I really like Jahan Dotson coming into the year.
Yep.
And then they just didn't really do anything with him, and he's been kind of disappointing.
Yep.
And they've been in a lot of situations where they need to throw the ball a ton.
And he's not the guy.
Work. No, he's number 2 wide receiver
Yep.
on a team that is not very good, and they shouldn't be throwing the ball as much. And Curtis Samuel should be coming back, so he kind of goes to the number 2.5. I would try and move him for somebody that is a number 1. I mean, I think you could potentially move Jahan Dotson for somebody like Nico Collins if you wanted to, or somebody, somebody else's wide receiver 1. Maybe even package Jahan Dotson and another player for like a Garrett Wilson or something.
Yeah.
Like, not a great guy, but way better and more consistent than Jahan Dotson probably would be moving forward.
Yep.
But that does it for me.
And I think that does it for the show, right? If there's one more slide, then it goes to week 10, and that means we're done. So, look, appreciate everyone for hanging out with us at Fantasy Blitz. Remember, no BS, just Blitz. I am Nick.
I'm Adam.
And that's Hudson.
Yeah, I'm Hudson.
We might see him
For
again.
now?
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows what I'll be next week or the next time I'm on here.
Hudson's an elite pickup right now for fill-ins.
Yeah.
If you need a bye week fill-in, Hudson's the guy.
Yeah, we always buy high on Hudson.
Yeah.
And we always sell low. But we're always making our waiver pickups for our chat, for our subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. Go ahead and comment on this video on the type of content that you want us to do. Again, I already said it once, but I'll say it again. Fantasy Blitz, no BS, just Blitz. Thanks for hanging out.
Love it.